メロディーは音と曲が作るブレスのできない歌は誰も。
Apologize for the AC. I just came in from work and I want to make sure my room is cool. But anyway, you guys, what is going on? It is yours truly, Master Ryo Sakurai, and yeah, for as much as I wanted to probably talk about my whole deal with like another show, this time I'm gonna talk about something that's obvious, and we talked about it before, but I want to really put my full input to it. That being said, Power Rangers. And not just Power Rangers, I'm talking about the OG, old school, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And the reason why this came up in my mind is because I don't know. I guess, like, I woke up this morning and was like, damn, I just love Power Rangers. And like the song just came in my head, and I'm just like, oh my god. And I just kept singing it, and not to mention I have the song on my phone, so like, I don't know, like it just fully impacted me, because it was like, when it first came out, and I do remember it. I remember it well. Like I said before, I liked a lot of shows. I liked Pokemon, I liked Digimon, I watched Cartoon Network, all of their old school shows, all of Nickelodeon's old school shows, all of Disney's old school shows. But one in particular that I loved more than all of those shows in particular, that I cared about more than anything other than Pokemon, along with Darkwing Duck, it was Power Rangers. I don't know what it was, and it, you know what? It's not just me. It infected everybody. It was an infectious feeling. We all loved Power Rangers. We all grew up with Power Rangers. Power Rangers was the second thing that ruled the 90s. Like, everybody wanted to be a Power Ranger. People to this day still want to be Power Rangers. I still want to be a Power Ranger. From what you can see. Like, and it was so crazy, because it's an idea. It was literally an idea that never should have worked. But despite with its, you know, issues and flaws and continuities, it worked. It was a big hit. Everyone loved it. Kids loved the Power Rangers, and even to this day, there's still a following. And you know what? That's the main thing that I want to talk about, mainly about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That even to this day, people love the hell out of Power Rangers, and it's got to the point where now Power Rangers literally has a multiverse. It has a multiverse. It has a comic book lineup, and I'm just like, okay. So we got that. We have the toy line back. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers toy line came back in a full blast. Everyone started collecting it. Everyone started, doing that. Unfortunately, when I was young, I wasn't fortunate enough to collect the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers action figures or any of the Zords. But after, Mighty Morphin came off, and Zeo and all that, I started collecting Power Rangers toys. But I mainly had a love for Mighty Morphin. I love the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It wasn't just the song. It was the way everything went. Like in each episode, they go fight a monster. They go through some type of turmoil or issue or type of insecurity and whatnot, and they dealt with it as a team. And at the very end, they all came into this big Megazord and defeated the monster, and everything went back to the way it was, preferably. And it was like that for a good number of episodes until my main ranger. And this is another thing that really made me think. Like, Jason David Frank as Tommy Oliver. When he first appeared on that screen, I loved him immensely. Because, okay, basically the story about Tommy was that, like, he was the new person among Angel Grove, basically Beverly Hills. And Rita took control of him. he immediately turned evil and started destroying everything. And that was the main reason why I loved Power Rangers. That was the main reason why everybody else loved Power Rangers, because it was that one scene that unfortunately we found out years later was taken from the original series, the Sentai series, Zyuranger. And that's also a good show. Zyuranger, the Sentai series, that is a good show. It really is. But yeah, it was that scene where the Green Ranger came out of nowhere, and he was so mysterious. He came out of nowhere. He busts into the back of the Megazord, and started banking all 5 of the Power Rangers by himself. All 5 of the Power. He went in. I mean, he went in there. He broke into it. Everything was sparks was flying everywhere. Had them all flying out of the Megazord. Jumped out, and he starts destroying them. He starts destroying them, taking them down one by one. Throws a dagger at Jason, and has this little fight, this little standoff with Jason, and just basically throws a freaking dark Kamehameha a sphere ball like thing at him. And I'm just like, dude. From that point on, I loved the Green Ranger. I loved the Green Ranger. Like, I loved him when he was evil. I loved him when he turned good. I loved him, like, even in like, you know, the Super Sentai version of him, the Green Ranger from Zyuranger. Like, his story is basically, it's even more complex in that series, because we find out that in that series, the Red Ranger and Green Ranger are stepbrothers. And he automatically hates his stepbrother. The Green Ranger automatically hates his stepbrother because his kingdom, the rival kingdom that he belonged to, his father died. His whole kingdom died and was taken over by the Red Ranger's father's kingdom. And he grew a hatred for the Red Ranger. And when the time came for all the 5 Rangers to, you know, go into a hibernative sleep, because they were the chosen ones, they were the chosen kings to fight against the evil that will come to threaten Earth. I'm trying to remember off the top of the dome. The Green Ranger basically said, "Put me in sleep too." The only difference was when he got put in sleep, a mountain of rocks came on him and he died in his sleep. But the only thing that kind of saved him was this ghost that made sure his spirit was still intact with his body, because he technically died, and he couldn't be out of this little temple that he had, that this ghost had had his spirit in to keep him fully intact. He couldn't step out of there for too long, because if he stepped out there for too long, his spirit would wither off. So he had to return every so often, and every so often, like you know, he would help the Rangers and all that. Now, also the Red Ranger and the Green Ranger had a nice little complex battle in that series too, which led to the Green Ranger ultimately forgiving his brother. But yeah, it was awesome. Like, that series alone, Mighty Morphin and Zyuranger, made me love the Power Rangers even more. It made me love, you know, despite the fact that of like its continuity errors, and the fact that in the I want to say the 3rd season, they got rid of the Green Ranger and put in the White Ranger, which was originally a 6th Ranger too, that came from another Sentai series. So he technically wasn't among, you know, the whole Zyuranger, Mighty Morphin Power Ranger thing. It was basically a ripped off Ranger from a different Sentai series. Either way, I loved it as a kid. I loved the White Ranger. And the thing about it is that's so fucking crazy, is that you wouldn't think that after all this time we would still be talking about Power Rangers, and it wouldn't be as big as it is. But it is. It actually is. It's gotten a cult following. It has a fan following. Like, that is, y'all don't understand. That is powerful, because there were so many others, like, who were trying to, you know, duplicate off of the Power Rangers, you know, build up and hype. Beetleborgs tried it like once. tried it once. Like, people like Beetleborgs, but it wasn't as much. VR Troopers tried it. Not many people remember it, that series. What else? Kamen Rider, the first Kamen Rider series that came to America. They tried it, and not many people remember that one. And it was a ripoff. It was a very sad thing. But I loved the Kamen Rider series. Kamen Rider Dragon Knight even it came back to try it, and it still didn't work. So, like, yeah, Power Rangers became its own thing. It literally became its own thing, from like marketing, from the toys to like the like all the merchandise, the t-shirts, the TV show, the games, the action figures. Like, it just became a monstrous thing. And it infected everyone. Everyone loved the Power Rangers. Everyone still loves the Power Rangers to this very day. They love the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. They absolutely love them. They love them all the way to the fact that there's a cult following about Alpha 5. People love Alpha 5. People love Zordon. People individually love each Ranger. And there's a big following for the Black Ranger too. So there's that, you know. Like, it's got to the point where even when, you know, some people who were in this series had long passed, including mainly Trini, the girl who played as the Yellow Ranger. I can't remember her name at this point. She died a while after, like, I want to say the second season, and they had to, you know, find an excuse as to why she wasn't on there anymore. But yeah, she had died, and it's beautiful that years later people paid tribute to that person. Like, people paid tribute to people who played as these Power Rangers. Like, and it's honestly a powerful thing. And even for Jason David Frank, back to him, like, okay. For as much as people made fun of the fact that, you know, being a Power Ranger is probably going to be the suckiest thing in the world, and now you aren't going to get fame, Jason David Frank is a representation, an example as to how that can be totally misinterpreted and wrong. Because after all this time, he is still the same way as he always been. I mean, granted, he has tattoos now, and he's an MMA fighter. But that's even more powerful. He was a fighter. He did his own stunts, and that was not the thing about it that I also talked about in my other reaction about the Power Rangers, the Shattered. I want to say the Shattered Grid. Yeah. But yeah, let me gather my words. It's just powerful, and now, like, he's still in the Ranger series. They gave him an ultimate morpher that let him transform into each Ranger that he's been out of the course of his years, and it was the most, by far, the amazing thing I have ever seen. I loved that. Like, oh, y'all don't understand. It's so big. Like, it's gotten to the point where YouTube, there's Power Ranger fan videos on YouTube. There's, like, from comic books to fan theories and stories. It's big. And despite some of the hate that the current Power Rangers movie got, people loved that movie. I enjoyed that movie. Unfortunately, it's not getting a sequel, and it's getting rebooted, unfortunately. But it's still being worked on, and I'm happy to not, you know, giving up on it, because, like I said before, it was an idea that probably shouldn't have worked. And yet it did. It's by far the most successful thing that ever came to the 90s, and is still alive. It's still alive, and that's the most craziest thing. And it's just great. And because of that, I will always love Power Rangers, because of those memories, because of the fact that it's been with me. It's been with people since many people could even speak. It's a powerful thing now. It's become a powerful thing. People take it to heart of what Power Rangers means. If you don't believe me, ask some of the people. Like, and I'm telling you, they're out there, including me. Sorry about that. My recording just all of a sudden froze. But yeah, I'm one of those people that really loved, you know, talking about Power Rangers and watching Power Rangers. It was just awesome. Like because of Tommy, because of Jace David Frank, I will always have his action sounds in my head. Like I will always have it in my head. I don't care. Like and another thing is the soundtrack is perfect. It's so good. Like for those of you who don't know, go back and just look up Power Rangers soundtrack, and I guarantee you will find a plethora of good songs. A plethora of good songs. Like, oh my lord. It's amazing. But with that being said, that's all that I think that I wanted to talk about in regards to the Power Rangers. Let me know what y'all think about, you know, what I've said so far and what I probably have left out. But, you know, I want to know what y'all think. What do y'all think about this series, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers? And if you don't know what series I'm talking about, go look up Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I guarantee you will not be disappointed, despite the fact that it's probably cheesy, because it's all the way back in the 90s. Of course, it's gonna be cheesy, and it has a lot of, you know, issues and continuity errors, of course. But it's a masterpiece. It became its own thing. So please, I encourage you, if you don't know what it is, go look it up and go watch it. Give it a chance, because I'm telling you this right now, it's awesome. It is an awesome show. Till then, this has been Master Ryo Sakurai, and I'm gonna see y'all again next time. I love y'all. Peace.
Go Power Rangers!